Hi, my name is Jessica Saunders, and the purpose of this video is just to help give you a few tips as you go through your reading for this term and as you prepare for the reading quizzes that you'll be given. So my biggest piece of advice would be just to actually do the reading before you take the quiz. I know it's a whole lot of reading to do, and kind of piggybacking off of that, I would say it's easiest if you divide up your reading into 2 parts, or maybe even 3 parts. But some of the chapters can get rather lengthy, and so reading 35 pages at once can be just really difficult and can be really hard to even recall what you're reading. And so that would be one of my biggest pieces of advice would be just to divide it up into at least 2 readings. And going along with that, I would recommend as you're reading to write out an outline. This will help serve as a quick reference whenever you're taking your online quiz. You can have that outline there with you to look at, and it'll also help you just to retain what you're reading. So that would be something I would just think would help a whole lot, is just to make sure that you write out an outline as you're reading through the chapter. So the way you kind of start with that is just throughout the chapter there will be texts that are red and blue, like the big headers. I would go ahead and always write those out and then include a page number beside it, just so, like, you know, if you're taking the quiz later and you have bullet points under those headers but you don't have the information that the question is asking about, you have a page number right there, and you can be like, okay, I can go back and just, you know, try to reference the textbook to find the answer that you need. And so I would include page numbers by the headers just to help, again, with the referencing during the time you're taking the quiz. But yeah, include bullet points under the big headers. Bold terms are something I feel it's really good to always go ahead and define. If you see a bold term, define it. Any person, place, event, concept that has like multiple paragraphs describing it, or describing what, you know, happened as a result of this event or what this person accomplished. There's like multiple paragraphs about that person or place. It's probably a good idea to write them down and kind of just write a few facts about what made that particular person, event, concept, what makes it significant in history. So those are kind of also maybe things to look for as you're reading if you're kind of unsure as to what might be on a quiz question. Another kind of thing to note is shifts in history. So if there's a shift from one time period to another, it's a good thing to go ahead and just write down, like, what caused the shift, or what's the difference between, you know, this time period and this time period. What were the consequences of this shift? If you see any of those kind of things in the text, it's probably a good idea to kind of write that down too, because that is something that's a significant part of the chapter that you would want to understand. And then also just relationships, like relationships that society has on people, or how events change kind of the course of how history goes. You know, so like events like that, just noticing the significance of interaction between people and events, and how those events can like change kind of the course of society. Those are always also kind of things just to look for, ideas to look for as you're reading the chapter. Yeah, so I guess kind of another little just practical thing I would suggest is, like, if you take time, read the chapter, make a really good outline. Before you start the quiz, I would just encourage you to go ahead and look through your outline one more time. Just read over it really quick, kind of jog your memory on all the information that you've taken in, and just so you're familiar with what you've got. And then go ahead, take your quiz, have your outline with you, have your textbook with you in case, you know, there's something on your outline that you didn't cover, and so you can go back and, you know, try to check in the book. And And yeah, and so those were just kind of the tips that I had for helping kind of to be more successful as you take these online quizzes. And one thing that Dr. Hicks also said was that at the end of each chapter, there's some review questions. And so that's kind of something you can look at and check and see, like, if you can answer those review questions, then you probably read carefully enough and understood the important concepts that you needed to get from the reading. And so I hope this is somewhat helpful, and I wish you all the best this semester in Western Civ. Have a good night.